no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. I want you to go down to the comments right now and predict the score. Las Vegas Raiders are traveling to Los Angeles to go ahead and play the Rams in a away game in the preseason. If you're interested in betting on this game, look down there below at that link. It's chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. You're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. What the hell does that mean? If you deposit $100, you get $125 for free. So, chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125 for 125% deposit bonus. Go ahead, take advantage of the deal because it might not be around forever. Chatsports.com/Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Right now, we're going to get into the Raiders vs. Rams preview, and I'm going to give you some predictions as well, plus some key players that every single person from Raider Nation needs to be watching. So, Mom, if you're wondering, who should I watch in the preseason game? Don't worry, I got you. So, coming up in this one, the Raiders are actually 7-point favorites. When I saw that, I was like, damn, okay, I see you. 7-point favorites up against the Los Angeles Rams. This game gets scheduled to kick off on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a late one, but it's okay for the people in the West Coast. For people in the East Coast, Dad, you don't got a shot in hell making kickoff for this one. The over-under, 35 points. And for 35 points, that's actually a pretty average score for preseason games. Last week, the Raiders over-under was 37. So if you guys want to join the #1 most-watched Raiders vs. Rams watch party, where do you got to join? It's here on the Raiders Report. Last week, 80,000 views. We were freaking crazy and wild for about 5 hours. We were calling people on our phones. We had a good old time. And if you, for whatever reason, can't watch the game in your area, if it's blacked out, if you can't listen to it, I got you covered. Subscribe for free videos and join our Rams watch party. We get the show started. We bring the party to you about 15 minutes before kickoff. And to make sure that you don't miss it, turn on your notifications. If you're like, how the hell do I turn on my notifications? Go to your settings app on your Apple phone, listen to me, I sound like I'm from 1950. On your iPhone, on your Android, scroll down, tap YouTube, tap notifications, turn on allow notifications, and then make sure you enable notifications because that's very important. That way, you don't miss a thing. All right, so coming up right now here, we're going to get into some players that every single person needs to be watching on offense. And I'm going to start at the quarterback position. We're going to work our way through then all the way through the running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, and then we'll get into the defense. In terms of the quarterbacks, I don't think that Derek Carr is going to play in this one. Again, he doesn't usually play in preseason games, but the fact that Marcus Mariota practiced on Tuesday, that kind of gives me some optimism that he's going to be able to suit up and rock and roll in this one on Saturday. If he does not play, expect to see a lot of Nathan Peterman. The other reason why I'm very confident that Marcus Mariota is going to play in this one, the Raiders cut Case Cookus for their going down from 90 to their 85-man roster. So in terms of overall, I expect to see a lot of Mariota and Peterman in this one. Now, last week, Peterman did a halfway decent job. 29 of 39, 246 yards, no touchdown, 1 interception. I liked what I saw for most of the game. Did he have a very bad interception? Yes, he definitely did. He also ran the ball 6 times for 32 yards, so that was impressive. But if Mariota is out on the field, I'm telling y'all right now, you need to go ahead and watch him because I want to see how the Raiders incorporate him, especially if they get down in the red zone. Now, Gruden has kind of informed the media to not mention a secret Mariota package in the red zone. It's going to sound really weird. I want to see Mariota package. Right? I want to see what that looks like in the red zone because this team needs to get better in that territory of the field. So those are the 2 quarterbacks that I'm going to be watching, and obviously if DC's out on the field, everyone's going to be watching. Let's go to the running back room now. Jacobs and Drake. I do not anticipate seeing Jacobs. I do anticipate seeing Kenyan Drake out on the field in this one. You might see Alec Ingold as well, but more than likely it's going to be the 2-headed monster attack again of Trey Ragas and B.J. Emmons. So last week against the Seahawks, these guys looked pretty good. Both averaged over 4.8 yards per carry. Both had a touchdown. Ragas was productive in pass blocking and receiving, all around a very good back. But as much as I was impressed by these 2 guys, B.J. Emmons not going to make the 53-man roster. Trey Ragas, 2 chucky heads on him making the team. Kenyan Drake, though, he was added to be this weapon, a joker, where they're going to move him all over the football field, all over the line of scrimmage, try to confuse some people, and also be a red zone threat. I want to see what the Raiders offense looks like with Kenyan Drake out on the field. So what do y'all think about this? Which player on offense are you going to be watching the closest? Then usually when I ask this question, I kind of lean towards the rookies because I want to see a little bit more out of Alex Leatherwood. I was impressed by Andre James this past week. If some of these other wide receivers get on the field, I'm going to be watching them. But what player on offense are you going to be watching the closest? Go down in the comments section and let me know. Raiders wide receiver depth chart, here it is. You got Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, John Brown, Hunter Renfrow. You're going to see a lot of Zay Jones, Marcel Aitman, Keelan Doss again. Dylan Stoner's going to get some run. DJ Turner had a hell of a game last week. But John Brown, I want to see a little bit more out of Brown because he had a bad drop in the first preseason game. I understand he suited up. He didn't play all too much. But if any of those top guys that you see pictured are in the game, you're going to watch them. In terms of who got the most run last week, here were the top Raiders wide receivers against the Seahawks in the first preseason game. Zay Jones, 3 grabs, 57 yards. He looked really good in my opinion. Keelan Doss looked pretty productive, though. Most of his stuff came at the end of the game. Same with DJ Turner, though the Raiders were using him in kick return, punt return situations. And then Dylan Stoner, Marcel Aitman rounding out the top 5 receivers last week. But I did mention John Brown. And I want to see Smokey because if you're going to try to be this Nelson Aguilar type replacement, you need to be a little bit more consistent. And he did have a bad drop, I thought, last week against the Seahawks. Is it that big of a deal? No. Does he usually have a drop problem? No. But he also didn't practice today. And we also know that injuries can be a little bit of a scare for John Brown. So I'm hoping he's healthy, but if he's not, then that kind of sucks. All right, let's go to the tight end room now. Darren Waller, he's back out on the practice field. I still don't think that we're going to see him in preseason action, but could we possibly see Foster Moreau? Foster Moreau is a player that I definitely would love to see out there on the field. I understand he's still recovering from a little bit of an injury from last season, but I want to see Moreau out there on the field. In terms of the tight end leaders against Seattle, nobody really impressed me, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Matt Bushman wasn't impressed. Derek Carey, Alex Ellick wasn't impressed. One of my losers was actually Nick Bowers, simply because he didn't block very well. And if you want to be a tight end in a John Gruden type of system, you better know how to block. But back to Foster Moreau, I want to see how the Raiders use him in the red zone. How does he look in terms of running routes? Is he 100% healthy now? I know he's a very good athlete. And then it also comes down to Darren Waller. If Darren Waller steps on the field for one snap, you watch him. You watch him because you want to see how the Raiders use him, but you also need to be able to watch him to appreciate how gifted and how talented that guy is. Those are my top players for watching on the Raiders. But now, we got to go to the offensive line because I understand all the skill position players. That's where the normal fans are going to watch. However, the diehard Raider fans, in my personal opinion, you need to study the offensive line. You need to see how guys like Colton Miller, Richie Incognito, Denzel Good, Leatherwood, Andre James are all looking. 3 players that I'm going to keep a very close tab on: John Simpson, Brandon Parker, Jared Jones-Smith. And these guys, I personally thought, were the clear losers on the offensive line against Seattle. I was not impressed by John Simpson. I was expecting a whole bunch more from him. Brandon Parker looked like an absolute turnstile, and Jared Jones-Smith gave up 2 sacks. These are three offensive linemen that the Raiders need for depth, and if these guys aren't ready to play, and if somebody else goes down with an injury, I am going to be very, very concerned. Now, if you guys love betting on Raiders games, I want you to listen the hell up. You can go to chatsports.com/Raiders to get the best deal on the internet. So if you want to bet on this Rams preseason game, please go ahead and do so, because I hit both of my bets last week, to be honest. I made like 12 or 14 bets on the over-unders point spreads, and I was 12 of 14. I did pretty damn good, so I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of a pat on the back here. Now, if you want to go ahead and get a bet in, it's chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125 for 125% deposit bonus. So what does that mean? If you deposit $100, you're actually going to go ahead and get $125 for free. So actually, as I am filming this video, the odds have changed. So right now the Raiders are 6.5-point favorites. The over-under in this game is still at 35 points. So that's kind of interesting to me. Now, obviously, odds and favorites, over-unders, like they're going to fluctuate throughout the entire week, but this is still actually a pretty good line for the Raiders, especially the over-under. Like I'm telling y'all right now, I don't know if the Raiders are going to cover 6.5. I have this one projected at 20 to 14, so we're right underneath that the under, but I'm going to go ahead and say the Raiders are going to win, but it's going to be under. And, Raiders are going to win, but they won't cover. And then give me the under in terms of total points. The easiest bet to make in preseason games, bet the under. I love the Raiders' offense in the regular season, but it's a lot different in the preseason. And as you saw even last week, some ugly football, but that's what the preseason is all about. If you want to bet on Carr winning the MVP, the Raiders winning the division, the Raiders winning the Super Bowl, you can do all of that. You can literally bet on anything at BETUS. Hell, I saw some cricket odds for people out there that are diehard cricket fans. I've been thinking about making the cricket report. I don't know. Chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. Get that 125% deposit bonus. All right, the next thing coming up here, y'all. We're going to talk about some players to watch on the defensive side of the football. And again, love the offense. The defense is where it's at, right? Like, we need to watch the D because, I can't say that, right? Can't say you need to watch the D. All right, let's just go to the linebackers before I say anything weird. So we're going to be looking a lot here to see how some of these players are going to be breaking down on the defense. So we're going to see more of Littleton and Morrow. They didn't suit up last week. Nick Witkowski's been battling an injury. But the top guy that I am going to be watching, besides Divine Deablo, if Deablo is playing, all eyes are going to be on him. But I'm going to be watching Javen White very, very closely. 6 tackles last week against the Raiders. That led the entire team. But I loved his ability to fly all over the football field. Plus, watched him on Mic'd Up, or what is it called? Something like that. It's Mic'd Up, right? But he was on there. He's talking about how he loves football. He's fun. He's inspired. UNLV kind of guy. Like, I want to see Javen White make this team. And if he keeps playing the way he did in the last preseason game, I think he's actually got a pretty halfway decent shot. So what do y'all think here? What player on the defensive side of the football are you going to be watching like an absolute hawk? Like, you're just going to be glued in, watching that guy on football on Saturday. Who's it going to be? Let me know down in the comment section which player on defense it is. Let's go to the cornerback position now. So, obviously, I want to see some Mullen and Hayward. Those guys didn't play last week, but Damon Arnett played. Nate Hobbs played. Keyshawn Nixon played. As you can tell, Devontae Bosby no longer on the roster. Obviously, I want to see what Amik Robertson can do. Rasul Douglas is on the roster bubble as far as I'm concerned. But my attention is going to go to probably the biggest winner on the defensive side of the football. That's Nate Hobbs, rookie out of Illinois. 2 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, was flying all over the football field. I gave it 3 chalky heads earlier in the week that this guy's going to be the starter against the Baltimore Ravens week 1 on Monday Night Football. And if he keeps playing the way he is, I am going to totally eat my words when I said that I didn't like the Nate Hobbs pick. I will sit here and I'll say if Nate Hobbs can ball out, I will be the first dude to say I was wrong. Shout out to Nate Hobbs. Now, let's look at the safety room here for the Raiders in terms of why you should go ahead and watch some of these players going up against the Rams. So, Merrick, Leavitt, Abram, Joseph, right? These guys, I really want to see them rock and roll. I want to see a little bit more from Abram. Not sure if Karl Joseph is going to lace it up in this football game, but has been battling a little bit of an injury. Roderick Teamer, Tyree Gillespie, going to be watching closely. But how do the Raiders use somebody like Karl Joseph? Because even though that Abram is going to be the main starter, the Raiders are going to want to go ahead and use Karl Joseph. So how they decide to line him up is something I'm going to watch, though I'm not guaranteeing that he's going to play. Dalin Leavitt, probably the biggest loser against the Seattle game, was the main reason why DJ Davis took it 43 yards to the house, missed his assignment, and Raider fans are sick and tired of guys missing their assignment in the secondary. So if Leavitt wants to try to make this team again, he needs to step up, though I am not very confident. I'm going to give it probably even half a chuck here that he makes the 53-man roster. Now, if you guys haven't already, please go ahead. Hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. We got 670 people watching right now. And to those 670 people that watch this live, or the people that watch this on a later date, I got a challenge for you. And I want to be able to show the world, I want to be able to show YouTube, I want to be able to show anybody that comes across this channel how awesome of fans Raider Nation is. So I got a challenge for you guys. If you want to come on the show, this is what I need you to do. I need you to post your best Raiders costume on your personal Instagram, right? So you put it on your Instagram, whatever your Raiders costume is. It can be literally anything. And then you need to tag me on Instagram. That way, when I go ahead and I click I don't know, the heart button on IG, I can see, okay, who tagged me or not. I am going to take my favorite pictures of all the different crazy Raiders costumes, and then I'm going to put them on next week's live show. So you basically get a week to do it, but first come, first serve is usually the way how the world works, right? So if you want to come on the Raiders Report, post your best Raiders costume, tag me on Instagram, Mitchell Renz 365. Let's look at the big guys up front. Saw a lot of Clelin Ferrell this past week. I was actually surprised on how much he played. Even Malcolm Kuntz, I want to see a little bit more out of him. Karl Joseph, want to see a little bit more out of him. Though reports were, even from him, he was like, hey, I was in my head last year. I got a much more clean mind. Hopefully going to have a better year. The reason why I'm going to keep my eye on Ferrell is simply because this guy played so much against the Seahawks. Like, usually, I know Clelin might not be a starter because it's going to be Crosby and Gakwe, but let's not get it twisted. Ferrell is going to be one of the main players on the defensive line. Like, there's no other way around it. So the fact that he played as much as he did, that was very surprising to me. I'm going to be watching very closely against the Rams. Let's go to the defensive tackles now. Quentin Jefferson, Solomon Thomas, Jonathan Hankins. I want to see them out on the field. If those guys are not out there, my attention is going to quickly shift potentially to a different direction. So maybe Gerald McCoy, is he going to be out there on the field? I know he didn't play in the first preseason game, but does he have the opportunity to play in this upcoming preseason game? That's something to think about. One of the biggest winners from last week, Darius Philon. He only had one tackle, but his ability to generate pressure up the middle, I need to pay a little bit more attention to him, and I want to see what he's ultimately going to be able to do this upcoming year, and it might even start here in the preseason because he gave us a little bit of a taste this past week. So out of all the positions on defense, which one are you watching the closest? Defensive end? Type DE. DT? Type DT. Linebacker, cornerback, or safety? Let me know down in the comments which position you're watching closest against the Rams.